George Brisac owns a large country mansion in Old New Orleans in 1860. He is engaged but is having an affair with a French Creole girl Lee, a maid in his household who has a gypsy aunt, Jezebel. George stands to inherit the estate from his childless uncle as long he keeps out of trouble. One day when he is out, the maid throws a huge party in his house and everyone gets drunk. One male admirer is rebuffed. When George returns, he kisses her and angers her admirer. A fight ensues and George is briefly knocked out. The admirer tries to kiss the girl and she hits him repeatedly on the head with George's cane and kills him. George decides to fabricate a story to keep out of any blame, and lies when the girl goes on trial for murder. Meanwhile, Captain Fabian returns to port. Although having no link to the events, he goes to the trial having been told enough of the story to see a plot. He stops the trial and gets the judge to release the girl into his care. He buys a local bar. His overall aim seems to be to clear the name of his father, who was a merchant who went bankrupt in the town. Captain Fabian appears to also like Lee but is restrained in his actions. However, Brisac also kills his own uncle when the uncle finds him kissing the maid. Despite his poor treatment of her, she demands he marry her to keep her silence. When George's fiancée arrives with her family, she is informed of the new arrangement. She says she will wait until he comes to his senses. After marriage to Lee, George cools in his desire and feels tricked into the marriage. New Orleans society is also shunning him. As they are the only witnesses to the uncle's murder, they plan just to be wholly silent on the issue. Ever the temptress, Lee goes to Fabian's ship. He sees her for what she is but yields and kisses her in a strong embrace and says he loves her. When she asks him to take her away, he reminds her she is now married. George, sensing something wrong with Lee, reports his uncle's disappearance to the police. Even though this will result in the finding of the uncle's grave on the estate at some point. However, George has buried an inscribed pocket watch bearing Fabian's name with the body. When this is found, the police jump to the conclusion which George wants. He knows Lee cannot tell the truth without implicating herself. Lee and George each now want to kill the other. The police arrest Fabian in his bar. But Fabian is very popular in the local community. Fabian knows that Brisac is the likely murderer and realizes why he married Lee. Lee holds the key to which one is hanged. George hires a local crook to lynch Fabian and make it look like community justice. He gives the man the key to his warehouse of rum. Aunt Jezebel and Fabian's crew plan to save him. They release him and the two rival groups escape through the catacombs down to the docks, where a huge brawl begins. The mob torch Fabian's ship as it tries to raise sail. Fabian and Brisac end up fighting under the water. Fabian wins but his ship is destroyed. His cargo of gunpowder explodes and the main mast falls, crushing Lee on the dockside. She says Fabian's name as she dies in his arms.